Well, Ted, earlier on Inside Drag Racing, we introduced all fans to a brand new drag racing facility. And of all places, Minot, North Dakota, 10 racers got together in a consortium and built their own drag strip when they tired of driving 300 miles one way to the nearest quarter-mile track. The result? The Dakota Flat Track, right in the heart of downtown Minot, North Dakota, literally on the state fairgrounds, where we earlier saw coverage from the first ever AC Delco Classic Supercharged Funny Car Race. But what makes the Dakota Flat Track so much more than just an average drag strip is not only the fact that it's the first drag strip ever in the state of North Dakota, but the fact that it was put together by racers. Now, let's face it, the end of the 20th century was certainly a heyday of drag racing. Brand new facilities were springing up just about everywhere. Yet wherever we went in our inside drag racing travails, we ran into fans who kept telling us how they couldn't get anything done when they tried to build new drag strips or renovate current properties. If anybody is ever going to see an example of what can be done, it would be seen right here in Minot, North Dakota. We spoke with Bill Burke, one of the consortium members in this particular project, who himself races a low 8-second Chrysler product and decided to put his race car on a hometown racetrack. What year did the first seed get planted for this project?
Well, if you talk first seed, we wanted to track and mine it for 20 years, but actually last summer was the first. We got really serious about it early in the spring last year.
Now, to what efforts did you have to go to convince the city of the project?
Well, we had everything. You know, anytime you're trying to build a racetrack in inside of a city, we had the city council, the planning commission, the Ward County Planning Commission. We had everybody after us, and we did had my car down there a lot of times, and we did noise barrier sound testing, and we did a lot of public hearings, and we'd have cars there, and I guess a lot of times we took some of the investors or potential investors would sit with somebody from the city council and explain everything what was going on. So we got unanimous approval from the city planning, and then it came down that because we're on the North Dakota State Fairgrounds, they didn't have anything to do with it. So then the Attorney General got involved, and of course we had the Fair Board on our side. Most of them, we had a couple of those to sway over because like this morning out here, we dedicated the racetrack to the fairgrounds. The investors have donated this to the Fair Foundation and North Dakota State Fair.
The people that put this track together, literally built it with their own hands, gave it back to the city?
Well, we gave it to the state of North Dakota. We gave it to the North Dakota State Fair Association or the Fair Foundation.
Now you have to admit, that's probably a part of the plan that was never in your head at the beginning.
No, it was part of the plan from the beginning.
No kidding?
No, that we decided to do that. We wanted to put it here for future people to use. I mean, we're 50, 55 years old, some of the people that are involved in this, so we wanted to have a place for everybody that would be here forever. So that's what we did.
Now, how many people were actually involved in the financial end of it?
We had 15.
How much is the investment worth?
Well, we have about a little over, $330,000 in here.
Now, what is the schedule of operation right now?
The Dakota Flat Track has a 5-year contract to put on a race for Motor Mania.
Now, what exactly are you bringing in for Motor Mania?
Well, we'll be drag racing, dirt track racing, motocross racing. I mean, it's basically a motorhead's dream because I mean, if anything that's got a motor in it is here. We have a big car show. We have Harley Davidson, Goldwing people come. I mean, it's anything to do with motorsports is happening in Minot, North Dakota, Labor Day weekend.
Wow. I mean, that sounds like it could be one of the largest events in the northern part of the country.
It is. It's the biggest thing in the Midwest, and I guess our goal is to make Minot the motorsports capital up in this area, and I think we're going to do it.
So 15 people with a $750,000 enterprise managed to convince the city that this is where they should go, and then turned around and gave it to them. Yet that, of course, ensures that this facility will remain, as Bill Burke pointed out, of the people and for the people. Now, it's interesting to note that every single employee at the Dakota Flat Track is strictly volunteer. Nobody receives a paycheck. And the ingenuity that you will find around this facility is truly amazing. Case in point, think of a quick way, a cheap way, and an easy way to build not only a sound barrier, but also a privacy fence. How about 24 semi-trailers lined up down one side of the track? It does the job perfectly. The facility is just as good as any major IDR regional 8th mile in the country. And in fact, it may very well someday receive an IDR regional event, since it was indeed sanctioned by the International Hot Rod Association in its very first week of competition. The Dakota Flat Track should be an example for every single individual who is trying to accomplish something in the way of drag racing in their town. With perseverance, patience, understanding, and political correctness, anything can happen. I'm standing on the proof.
Thank you very much, Brett Kepner. Inside Drag Racing is brought to you by ARP, manufacturers of aerospace quality fasteners, and by RaceGang Communications of Johnson City, Tennessee. Now let's go up to Louisville, Kentucky, the National Street Rod Association event, and this report from Ken Stout.
Ted, as you know, we always try to find the behind-the-scenes story here for IDR, and we've done so for you today. We're out here in Louisville, Kentucky at a big street rod event, 14,000 to 15,000 cars here. And as I was interviewing one of the contestants, or one of the street rodders, I should say, we found out a real interesting story for you. The original name of the car club was the Chevaliers, and these are 3 of the original members. Tell me, what did the Chevaliers, what does that word stand for?
Let me see.
It's the Knights of the Road.
Roads. Knights of the Road.
Yeah, it's French.
French. And we very possibly didn't understand what it meant then, but we had a lot of fun getting together as friends and going through school, and we all had cars that we felt like was competitive in it was the racing era of our life. And every week we went to the raceway park and run it and had a good time and run our own cars.
Now, we kind of skipped over exactly what we're talking about here. Tom, tell us the place that we're talking about. What's this behind-the-scenes story about?
Well, it's about Edgewater Race drag strip, actually, and we used to race cars on the street a lot, you know, and we thought, well, maybe we get a little track of our own and do our own, and so we went down to this old cornfield and we kind of plowed it out and made a drag strip out of it and started doing that, and it just mushroomed and everybody started getting involved, and one thing led to another, and now it's, 45 years later, it's still going.
Indeed it is. Thank you, Ken Stout. Join us next week from Moroso Motorsports Park in West Palm Beach, Florida, Wednesday, March 22nd. Notice 6 p.m., a half hour earlier than our regular time. You'll see Shirley Muldowney against Big Daddy Don Garlits. No kidding, it's for real. The old man comes out of retirement. This is Ted Jones, all out of time for this week. Thanks for watching. So long, everyone, from Indianapolis, Indiana.